2021, 4 men got together to make a radio show that nobody asked for. This is the result.
Welcome to Broad Street Radio. I'm Michael Morris with my buddy John E. Cash. John Amenick. First of all, can I say this? I've said that I've called you John E. Cash to people, and they absolutely love it. Will you legally change your name to that?
100% no.
Okay, so you're gonna think
there's probably some compliance issues if I start touting my name as Johnny Cash and I'm a financial advisor.
You can just start wearing black all the time.
Right, yeah, there you go.
You know?
Yeah.
Start singing, strumming.
Well, and then also with us today is the dulcet tones of sweet Lew Compton. Lew, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me today.
Now, the reason we're here today is I want to get into something because we all have different angles of this issue, and it's the potential for Hollywood to go on strike. Not the actors, because we know they're taken care of. It's the people that actually make things for a living, and you boys both make things for a living. Is that fair to say?
Very fair.
Lou's good with his hands, and Jonathan's good at sitting in a chair and taking phone calls all day?
Sure. Good enough.
Transactions.
Yes.
I'm jealous.
So what's happening right now in Hollywood to kind of bring people up to speed is the IATSE, which is the greatest acronym I've ever heard, that stands for nothing. It is the people that are holding the boom mics, that are working on script, supervising all of this. They are being worked. Well, Lew, you can tell people what it was about a little bit. About being overworked, basically.
Essentially is what's going on with all the Netflix special series and the Apple TVs and the Amazon's TV and all that. All these extra shows have kind of been developed. Well, they were all developed, but the people to run those shows, they didn't all of a sudden have more people. So now those people they're union and they're being worked to death, basically 12, 15, 18-hour days. So they are upset because they're doing this, they're not making a lot more money, and their conditions have been really challenging. So I guess they're upset, and now they want more money and better conditions and blah, blah, blah.
So I want to go to Jonathan because he's going to pour water on this argument because you should see his face when he's like this. Well, get a job, hippie. Is that what you're saying?
No, absolutely not. I was going to say they're getting paid more, right?
Okay.
Well, they're getting paid more, right?
Okay, so let's go into why they're not being paid more, because there is a new contract called the new creative media contract, so when we go to Scarlett Johansson's lawsuit with Disney, it was the potential loss of revenue. She has the money and CAA to back her up to fight these people. If you're a key grip,
or like Nate.
If you're Nate, Nate has no rights. When he does this show, we kind of own him. We could make him make T-shirts over there. It wouldn't matter. He has no choice. But what's happening is the people that are really making this all happen are not being compensated under that new deal, because this deal was struck during the, let's just call it, time when the clock stopped, if we will, because I'm not sure what we can say anymore.
Right.
So when that gets put together, there's no rules protecting the people that actually do the work. Only the people that are in charge of the content.
But wait a minute, and aren't they part of a union?
Okay, they are. But
isn't that their job?
The union approved this new this new content method, because we didn't know how long this was going to last, right?
Yeah.
And it's only 2 weeks to slow the curve, right? And
15 days. 15
days. And we're getting closer. We're at about 22 months, but it's getting slower. Okay. Now here's the thing that I want to ask you guys is I go to the movies with my daughter every single Monday, and I have for 12 years without fail. We even went last Friday. I'm a consumer. So to me, I should probably be looking at the little guy like, oh, that's terrible. But like, Lew, how much did you stream when you couldn't? I know you guys were still open doing some work, but were you streaming everything?
I don't know how to do that.
This is the person that the anti-union person going, Lew's not even watching this stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
But Jonathan, you've got 2 kids and probably 2 kids with another family that no one knows about. How much did you guys stream?
We stream all the time. In fact, we don't even have cable, so everything we do is streaming. And Tiger King was a great distraction from that 15 days.
Right.
It was totally worth it. I'm looking forward to season 2. Did you see that's coming out?
Where's that going to go from there?
I have no idea, but I can't wait to find out.
The guy's in jail still, right?
Yeah, but Carol Baskins is still free.
First of
and
all,
you know she did it.
Free Carol Baskin.
Yeah.
Freer.
Before that even came out, that Cool Cats and Kittens, I knew that phrase. I had no idea where it was coming. I was using it all the time until someone's like, that's Carol Baskins. I thought she was running for mayor or something. I'm like, well, I'm not going to vote for her. I don't know what she stands for. Then I actually saw it and I'm like, this is pure this is Jerry Springer level trash with better production.
100%. Which those people probably didn't get compensated for, apparently.
Exactly.
I don't know.
That's the point. That's what this contract is meant for, that where you're just kind of dicing up footage like a, what's it called? Keeping Up with the Kardashians or whatever.
Yeah.
Where there's not 40 people doing green screen work and all that. The question I have is, at what, like, I'll just say to you first, Lew, in your opinion, what do you think these people should do? Because they do have a union, but do you think it's one of those things like you have to get a side job and you're going to work on Mission Impossible?
Well, I mean, I don't think that they're not getting paid. I think that they're upset because of the conditions that they're working under. I think they're probably getting time and a half and all of that, but I think that they're losing the ability to say no to work. And they're going from, and I saw just a quick little blurb on it, so I'm certainly not an expert. But I mean, gosh, I think that if you're getting paid, you've got to be happy about that. And if you're all of that, but I don't know. I kind of want to say suck it up, Buttercup. Because
but you employ people, right? That was my point, is that people work for you. You have meetings with your team, all of that.
All the time.
And I'm sure people are always like, I should be getting paid more.
They do.
My thing is, I would look at it and say, well, then you either need to produce more or find another place. I'm not trying to be harsh about it.
Right. When I think about it, it to me is, I'm purely capitalistic. Like, that's what I believe in.
From your fancy suit.
It's kind of what I do, right? Is capitalism. So capitalism is if you've got a product that's worth more, let the market determine what it's worth. Well, the union is keeping that from happening, right? Because union is who negotiated the contract. So why would the Netflixes and the Amazon and the Hulus of the world, why would they want to deviate from that? Hell no, they're going to make more money if they don't. So it's the union's fault for negotiating a 3-year deal and not going back to the table saying, whoa, time out. Things are different. We need to change the deal. So if you get rid of the union and that one person is like, hey, look, I've got so much time. I'm in high demand. I'm going to charge more. Well, they can't do that with the union contract.
Right.
So the problem isn't the conditions. The problem isn't the people. The problem is the contract that they agreed to, right? At the end of the day, you get rid of that, and then, the market will determine what what people should be paid.
But don't you also find it odd when Scarlett Johansson's suing Disney for $100 million and the person that was her stunt double probably made scale $75 a day? We need you to fall out of this airplane. All I'm saying is it's an unfair system because of the way that Hollywood's set up anyway. So if you make under $70,000 in Hollywood or New York or whatever,
it's poverty.
Just poverty.
110, I think, is the poverty level. Yeah.
Right. So again, that's what these people are making. They're complaining about the hours, and you were saying the living conditions and all that, because they are working 15-hour plus days because there's a deadline to get this content done and delivered. And that's all anybody cares about. I just find it odd that, because I was watching a couple of these people they were interviewing, and they're in tears. But I also kind of look at it and I'm like, you're making $70,000 and you choose to live in Los Angeles.
Right.
There are other things you could do. Now, probably don't pay $70,000, but you're kind of doing it to yourself. Yeah. If nobody works, if they all strike in this situation, they're going to come back and they're going to say, okay, it'll only be 12.5-hour days. Unions aren't there to bust the whole thing up.
No.
They are there to get their Lew, you could speak to this better than I do. I'm sure you've dealt with a lot more unions. I just know when I was in media, in corporate media, they're always like, let's get a union. I'm like, to do what?
Right.
What are they going to get us that we don't already have?
This isn't, Upton Sinclair time where, people are getting their hands cut off in meat grinders. You're right. I mean, we're past that stage of our development as a country. So at the end of the day, I look at a union, especially if they're not doing their job. And I'm sure there are unions out there that are doing exactly what they're supposed to do, right? So I'm not slamming all unions, but in this case, this union's kind of like Congress. They're about worthless, right?
Oh my!
Are they really fighting for their people? Probably not.
Are you saying that Congress or the U.S. government doesn't get things done? You just got to give them another 200 years.
They get plenty done. It's just not for our benefit. Right.
Well, that's totally different. Now you paid him a compliment.
Yeah.
Nancy Pelosi's been there for 45 years. Look at all she's accomplished.
Hey, and that face is only 13 years old. So I have never worked in a union shop. I've never had anything to do with that. I've talked to people that are in unions, do strikes, do anything. Like Lew, if 10 of your guys tomorrow said, we're not going out today, what's that going to do?
Well,
yeah.
I would probably say bad words, and I shouldn't. But then it's a challenge. First of all, I don't have union people. I don't have unions.
But that was my example.
Let's
just say they didn't come in.
If I have people that don't show up, then I have to go back to my customer and change the expectation that I've set that we're going to be there. Actually, it's kind of funny. This happened yesterday. I was supposed to start a big project in Jeffersonville, a big gutter job, and I had 3 people not coming to work. One has the C word, COVID, not the other C word.
I was going to say, my God.
Far East Canada?
Yeah. So he's got, So he's got COVID. One's had a family situation, and one was, I feel like he was sick. So, but I couldn't start that job with, so right. I had to go back to my customer and say, hey, I'm sorry. And fortunately, that customer understood, but that kind of comes into play. You've got a deadline, so then sometimes I have to go out and hire more people, or I'll hire a new subcontractor or something to help me fulfill that contract, and then I have to make other decisions as to what I'm going to do. Do I keep those people if it consistently happens? The great, Ohio's an at-will state, so if we say, well, sorry, I don't have any more hours for you, it's I could do that if they continually did that kind of stuff, but I would hope that it wouldn't come to something of that nature.
Right. Well, tell me, Lew. So, I get this feeling that in our current labor market, the employees kind of have the employers by the short and curlies. Like if you're in a trade, especially like right. you or HVAC or electrician, plumbing, anything like that, anybody that work in those industries, they can do whatever they want. Yeah. They can not show up, come back the next day just for the fun of it, and the employer is kind of stuck. Like, what do I do? You can't find a bunch of HVAC technicians.
We both talked to somebody today that had that, where 2 guys are like, one guy's like, I'm just not feeling it. I'm not coming. Yeah. And he can't fire him because he needs them at some point.
It's the biggest challenge right now in what I do. So you'll hire people, and you'll bring on a subcontractor, and they just don't show up. And then the next day they come in like, hey guys, how you doing? And I'm like, could I talk to you for a minute? But the challenge is that, I pay a pretty good scale, but golly, they can go to Amazon, make $20 an hour
and be unskilled
and all they have to do is show up and point and pull, and I'm sorry, Amazon people, I'm sure you do more than that.
No, Jeff Bezos watches this, but don't worry about it. He's cool with it.
Jeff, it's good to see you. Sorry,
he's watching from orbit right now.
Sorry that divorce didn't work out. Sorry.
Worked out for Tony Gonzalez.
But so that's the biggest challenge in Columbus is that or in Central Ohio, and then all these other companies, well, hey, you're a marginal worker. I'm going to pay you twice as much because right now I just need, do you have a pulse?
Yeah.
Outstanding.
Can you fog a mirror? So, you're hired.
Exactly. It's crazy. So
we're talking about, we're in Ohio when we're doing this, but I think about Los Angeles. Every crazy thing happens in Los Angeles, right? So it's not all. You got wildfires, you got homeless people, encampment things. And you go there with this dream, and then you get that job, and then but you can't afford it because of the job you chose. You can't afford to live there,
right?
So what choice do you have? Here's the way I look at it:
commute 3 hours.
Well, where could you live and go to? Huntington Beach is one of the most beautiful places there is. You can't live in Huntington Beach. I saw Mark McGuire's house when he played for the Oakland A's.
Yeah.
My house is bigger here in Grove City. His house was worth $6 million.
crazy.
Mine's worth $9. So
You've been a little generous on the $9.
Yeah,
I think I've seen your place.
I just found some nice chairs somebody was throwing out. I put them on my porch. That's up
There
to
you go.
resale.
Okay.
Upgrade. I got it.
But if you had a new roof, it would be better.
Yeah, if anybody needs a new roof, Lou, you should plug away.
Yeah.
Roofing, siding, windows,
Gutters and more.
When it comes to Hollywood, though, I want to feel bad because I understand the situation you're in, but again, you also are making that choice.
Well, one of my favorite questions to ask people, and I do this in a myriad of events, things that I come up, meet people, networking, whatever, is
AA meetings.
Hey, AA meetings? Sure. Who are you? What do you do? And why do you choose to stay?
Well,
Because people don't recognize that they have a choice in the matter. Right? I mean, people bitch about their job all the time. Like, oh, it sucks. I got to get up and go to work. Well, you choose to do it.
Yeah.
Go do something else. Let the market
But
determine
why
what
don't
you
they
want to
do something else?
I don't know. I don't know why.
I didn't expect you to have it. I wanted to say that.
I wish I
because-
knew, man.
Well, before I was driving over here, a mistake was made at one of the radio stations. It's really not overall that big a deal, but the person that the mistake happened was going to lose money, right? Mistakes happen.
Yeah.
But when I called, this normally chipper person is cussing it and saying, "I hate this place." Now this person's been there 35 years, okay? And I've heard this at least once a year, And I said,
You talking to Jim Ramsey? Hey, Jim, we love you.
"Good to see you, Jim."
Sorry.
Jim.
Jim
You
does
remember Jim?
actually watch your show sometimes.
I wish I could get him out of there to just do this because
Oh,
you
man.
can go, what was the number one song in 1969? He knows it without looking at it.
He's like
but if I
Rain
said,
Man.
Jim, who's the prettiest lady you know? Error, not found. So, what was my point? Oh, I never understand why people are that hostile about you're choosing to go in there.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I think that it looks good on paper, and I have this thing about like the whole whistleblower type thing.
Right.
When it finally gets out there, are you really a whistleblower, or are you just trying to get the union to go your way? And I kind of feel like they're not going to come up with something that go, okay, Lou, you're making 70, we're going to give you 120, because that money still has to come from somewhere.
Right.
And those union dues are only going to go up.
Yep.
Right.
Because they feel like they're doing their job.
Well, look at the Kellogg strike. There's 14,
yeah,
what is it, another
1,400 people were like, hey, pissing your Wheaties. I ain't doing it. Like,
But
Yeah.
at that point, why doesn't Kellogg's as a company just go, okay, move along, and we'll bring other people in?
dude, there are, 10 million job openings right now.
Right.
And we have 9.8, 9.9 million unemployed people. We have more jobs than we have unemployed people, and they're still unemployed. That's a choice. I'm sorry.
Definitely.
But I don't understand where that choice comes from. I
don't know.
understand the choice.
Well, we had this conversation when we had that dude here, Will, I think his name was,
Yeah, the
from the
recruitment guy.
staffing company. I'm
Yeah.
like, man, I had no idea that I had a choice to not show up to work on Monday.
Yeah, just
right? Did you know that?
We were talking about he's a staffing company. He said he had 27 people,
Yeah.
and he actually goes on your first day. He said of 27 people, 22 didn't show up.
Yep.
But they'd gone through the drug testing, the screening, the interview
Yeah,
process.
It's crazy.
And they all had a different reason why they didn't show. And he has to get up and do it again tomorrow with another 27.
Wow.
And I just thought at some point I would feel like, when you think you're reaching at least one kid in a class, you're like, they're getting it. Everybody else is going to prison once they graduate. At least you got that you can hang your hat on.
Right.
But if I had to do it every day, I
man.
would be robbing a liquor store with that one good kid and said, look, I'm throwing in
This
this
is how it's
out.
done,
Let
man.
me show you how we do this.
Yeah.
So,
Go through the window
yeah,
first.
exactly.
Get rich or die trying, baby.
Hey, you have to wear a mask now, so you're good.
That's
Right.
right.
Yeah.
You're protected from everything except
Yeah.
bullets. I don't think there's going to be a settlement that's going to change anything in that industry because again, that's a dollars and cents industry.
Right.
Man, it's all about the money, and at the end of the day, they'll find some short-term agreement to make people feel good about it. But at the end of the day, does stuff change? No, man, it's not going to change. It's all going to be the same. They're going to turn around in 3 years, you're going to have the same complaint because in 3 years, conditions are going to be different. The market's going to drive different things. And, these people are still going to realize they're getting screwed from behind.
Well, let's put it this way. I know the thing, Jonathan, This is our number one thing. Inflation doesn't bother me. Inflation just drives me nuts. Right. Just because I love the fact to get irate about something that I can't control. But he'll say inflation doesn't matter.
I never said it doesn't matter. I just said
you said it doesn't matter to you. Like, you don't get bothered, but I get bothered.
Right.
No, but again, from my side of things, it's like, okay, everything I do combats inflation, right? We're growing money faster than inflation is rising. So
if
I don't
people
really care
are taking advantage of it.
Yes.
So if you're not in the market, if you're not putting money away, you're not getting the benefit.
Or if you're getting bad advice,
Yeah. Well, that's why I keep interviewing different financial advisors.
You should.
So I'm just sick of talking to you about inflation.
Fixed indexed annuities. That's what you need, buddy. CD-like returns, and you need an algebraic degree to figure out how it works.
Lou, you're not even writing this down. I don't even know the words that he just said.
I'm hoping to watch the podcast later because I can't follow this.
It'll be him and his new dog. Stop chewing on this.
Yeah.
But I will say, in wrapping up for today, because I unbelievably we're running out of time, all I'm saying is if the cost of living is going up, I don't care what the union gets you,
it ain't gonna be enough.
Still not going to keep up with the rest of the market.
No, it won't.
Especially out there.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
especially
there.
Yeah.
So,
So in summary, it's a yes or no question. No matter what happens out there, are you going to watch less Disney Plus, Netflix, any of that? Is it going to change your world?
No.
Lou?
I don't watch any now.
See?
So
yeah. So no.
So Stan once again is France. He's in the middle. He doesn't have any say.
If somebody could come over and show me how to, maybe I would. So
for $27,000 a year and benefits, I will. That's going to be it for Broad Street Radio. We'll see you next week.